welcome back to HDL Newsroom Debates, the segment where we hear your opinions and turn ideas into actions. On tonight's show, we're joined by Timothy and Nicholas, who believe that standard art education is due for a major change. Why don't you guys talk us through your proposal and we can go from there?
Well, to start off this presentation, I'd like to discuss a manifesto that we have created relating to the topic. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's broadcast. A broadcast of a cancer growing in the hearts, minds and souls of artists all over the globe. They say that knowledge is power, but for the apprentices of art, knowledge has become an illness. They say the creative mind is filled with unlimited potential, but the education system that promises such potential is in fact the one restricting this potential. These schools of art offer us the promise of creativity, but then we're told that there are rules that need to be followed, curriculums that need to be met. Who decided the rules of art? Who decided in our quest to pursue artistic knowledge, growth and understanding that we had to create art our teachers tell us to create, rather than creating whatever inspires us? Art isn't supposed to have rules and restrictions. By doing so, we make ourselves sick. Art is supposed to be an expression of self, a tool for entertainment, a message to the world. Potential of unlimited knowledge, or unlimited power, of unlimited creativity should be given to the students of tomorrow. The art education system needs to change. We need to fight against compartmentalisation and fight for integration, or else we hospitalise our creative potential. Tell me, where is the power in whatever ideas we conjure are told they are not good enough or don't meet a standard set by an education system or teacher? The teachers of the schools of art are meant to be guides for the students, not wardens. Teachers and students alike need to collaborate together to share their previous experiences, beliefs, ambitions, skills, preferred mediums and weaknesses to unlock the unlimited potential of knowledge in the arts. In order to create the best art we possibly can, the dynamic between student and teacher, between curriculum and creativity needs to change. We need to fight this illness together, this sickness, this cancer known as art theory that makes us lose our creative potential. And the worst part is, once you get it, once you get the illness, you don't even know you have it. Your creativity just starts slowly slipping away from you. The disease may be symptomless, but its effects are catastrophic.
And as my associate AD friend clearly stated, our proposal is aimed at the curriculum, meaning the change that we want to incite upon the education system when it comes to the art department. This project of ours is what we feel very passionate about, as students like ourselves can understand the frustration that has arisen from it.
So what exactly prompted this fierce denial of the curriculum-based education?
So, imagine you're a student with creative ideas that you want to present to the world. You roll into university, but find out the curriculum is restricting to those same ideas. So rather than, let's say, for example, I want to create a really gritty rock song, but the criteria imposed upon me forces a happy pop vibe. So you can already see that the discrepancy between those two is already quite jarring.
Exactly. So you're both undertaking creative arts degrees, as I take it.
That is correct.
So I'm sure you have a lot more knowledge than me, which will help me to learn. How exactly do you think that you, as students, can receive a better education that isn't founded on curriculum, but your own individuality and expression?
So, for this argument, we'll be using historical examples that we researched in our spare time before we making this argument. So, three names: John Cage, John Drew, and Paulo Freire. These three men have their own methods of challenging and inciting change in the way the art education system is formulated upon. So Cage's idea was to create a shared space for artists to collaborate, and brought in the idea of experimentation against traditional and prearranged compositions. So like, he even promoted the idea of like using common objects found in your house and sort of the surrounding area you find yourself. Dewey's was based upon the pupil's interest and experience rather than using a fixed education system, promoting the practical aspect against speculative and observation progress.
Polo Freire specifically is probably the best example that we have to express the goals we want to achieve with our course. He was part of a Brazilian radicalization art movement and wrote a book titled Pedagogy of the Oppressed, describing his beliefs on the art education system, which similarly align with ours. Freire believed that the students should have the option to construct and decide their curriculum for themselves. The Kantianization theory was one of Freire's ideas, which explored that in order for someone to build up knowledge on what sort of curriculum they wish to study, they need to gain real-life experiences so that they may identify aspects of the situations they wish to explore and study, as well as gaining the skills and knowledge of self-reflection.
Well, you guys have certainly done your research, and it is a great premise. But how will you determine that these tailored curriculums will be fair across all students that are undertaking the same degree? What is the criteria that will decide that students are putting in the same effort as each other, but will also be marked accordingly across the board?
So with this, it's safe to say, not everyone's the same. We all have different talents and skills, based upon our own experiences. The goal for this is to have a criterion that's based upon their skills and talents, and judge the result as any body of work, really, which has already been shown as sources to back this claim. And so we can clearly see that those students had a curriculum that was tailored to their skills and talents. The difference of students sort of getting this sort of restriction and constraint removed so they can pursue their creative ideas. And so the question on how we can ensure that the criteria enforces, not forces, like sort of guides them along so they get properly marked, can result in a multitude of ways. But the one I believe in is to ensure that each student has sort of their outline catered towards the same end result, but has enough challenges placed along their way.
And I understand that this might raise the question as to how students know what to get interested in. How do they know what they want to study? How do they know what to get interested in? Well, the way we understand it is that students may not always know what they want to do or what it is they want to be interested in. But that is why this unique form of the education system we have created is so interesting. By sitting down and discussing your previous experiences with art theory and your artistic talents and preferred mediums, one could design a curriculum perfectly suited for them. And even at the end of the day, you don't know any preferred mediums, you have zero artistic knowledge, and you don't know what methods you like. It's your first time ever sitting in an art classroom. That is why you have the option to sit down with a lecturer and go through every single technique, every single theory, every single medium, and every single piece of art history to find out which one you like the most and you're the most interested in. And if worse comes to worse, you are interested in none of them, we still want the viable option to be there to accept a pre-planned curriculum.
So you guys are really founded on choice based from student experience, sort of like the guidance counsellors of university education, which is absolutely fair enough. But is choosing the pre-planned curriculum, is that your way of eliminating students being inhibited in adaptability outside of your education, having not studied all of the deemed necessary curriculum by the current degree that you're undertaking?
The thing I wanted to say about that is why it is also important to discuss weaknesses, stuff that they're not good at or stuff that they're not interested in or stuff that they've never tried before, and then finding a way to apply it to their curriculum to get them engaged with it and interested in, and to just give it a go, to give them a challenge, and they might end up enjoying it more than they thought they would.
And then certainly goes the individual aspects of the artist. It's clear to say, like, as we discussed, not everyone is the same or will be interested in sort of what the pre-planned curriculum has already offered. Yes, we can also make the argument it would be useful to learn it, but this is the point. I've heard the complaints of my fellow peers who aren't really interested or really keen on using tech equipment or programs in their studies related to the degree, but then you compare them to the other half who are more than comfortable doing that. When you make the argument of like post-field education, it really depends on the individual at the end of the day. Yes, it can be useful, but it's clear that they won't want to pursue that sort of field later in life. So that the idea to having this curriculum tailored around them is to make sure that at the end of the day, we're all ultimately learning what we love the most. And similar to what I've mentioned about Kate's work, in an institute that he worked called the Black Mountain College, this sort of idea of collaborating and working with the artist's interest was like the main idea of the system that they imposed.
Of course. So will you still be encouraging students to learn outside of their comfort zone, regardless of what they choose to study in assignments? And I say encourage and not pressure because it's clear to me that that's what's important behind this radicalisation of the arts.
Primarily, we are looking to shift the assessing criteria for assignments and tutorial-based learning to provide more freedom and flexibility to students' assignments and curriculums. Given the delivery of university education, lectures would still be covered, and other theoretical aspects that are provided in order to gain a foundation of knowledge of vast forms of art disciplines. We are petitioning for the choice to be provided to students beyond lecture halls as to which areas they are wanting to explore further.
This is also simply a logical progression of reformation in the arts of education. So not even long ago, secondary high school students weren't even granted the freedom of choice for their HSC subjects. They were chosen for school-wide. I'll ask you this. If high school students are given the ability to choose subjects that will determine their entry to university and tertiary education, why can't university students be given the same flexibility and freedom with their chosen artistic forms, really?
Well, you both have certainly given the Department of Education plenty to think about, and it was lovely having you on this segment, and I really do hope to see this plan go further in action soon. And so with that, we'll go back to the weather with Dave.